You probably thought that was done. Oh no, we're only halfway done with Clippy. By the time I'm done with him, well, just as I'm excited to see. By the time I'm done with him, I don't really have a fancy thing to say with that. But we are going to replicate his paper behind him, and let me tell you, that is probably the more difficult part. And not because of all the little things going on with it, but specifically because of the shape. Let's kind of get into that part. So first of all, let's kind of remove all this extra crud. Just gotta make sure we don't somehow select Clippy. Trying to do this as fast and efficiently as I can, but the right bumper of my controller, my R1, is just absolutely jank because of all the Soulsborne I have done. But we can resize Clippy back to normal. Let's first get him back to position 0, 0. And just scale him all the way back up. Now he is back and ready for action. We don't have to worry about all that other stuff, we can just work them right here. Now we really need to do kind of when it comes to the page, the shape is the most important thing. Otherwise, what the background is at the moment does not matter at all. But let's move this down so we can better interpret it. Let's just make it a color that's easier to understand. Alright. That's very easy to understand. Now, the big thing is we have to account for some of those like curvings going on in there. Now take into best consideration of how to manipulate it, we want shapes that go one way and then go the other way. And that will better manipulate some of those circumstances we're looking for. You can probably already see what I'm kind of doing. But I'm pretty sure it's something like this. Maybe a little in more. That, and I think it basically just sort of smooths out going to the right, like and then it has to do that in the exact way the other way, but a little more on the other side, but a little more spaced outwards, which seems like it should be fairly simple, but trying to sort it out, you might get pretty confused pretty quickly. Now, overall, what that actually means to do, however, is mostly along the lines of just turning this around. Sounds kind of simple, don't it? Well, when you're actually kind of doing it, and like completely from scratch, it might be a little bit more of a headache to try to figure out. So don't feel bad if it indeed was a bit of a hassle to you. By all means, it's not something you were supposed to necessarily come up with. It's just something that you can come up with. Okay. And now for more edges. And then we're, let's see. I want it pretty much like so. I might actually want to stretch this one out a little more. I also want this red to cover more, just for the sake of working with it. We can resize it more to fit a little later. Not mistaken, it does come out more this kind of way. In which case, this might need to be stretched a little more and raised up. And we're just going to copy insert this, move this a little higher. As I recall, the actual page itself had a little more curving dip going to the right, where it just made it the corner significantly sharper. In which case, this might not be enough right here. Just to kind of double check with something that I've actually done it correctly with, we see here that it's actually a little higher up yet. Okay. So now that we have double checked that factor, we want this probably like up here. We want this mostly here. To move it further, you can basically just shrink the piece down and then rescale it to fit your needs. It's quite possible this scaling of Clippy is unreasonable the way we have him, so we can actually just scale him down just a wee bit to our needs. Use a lovable paperclip. And then readjust this one also. Back to the correct angle. Or vaguely the correct angle. I feel like we got this too thin. It's probably that there. Might need to move this one over. I think something like that. I do recall over here it actually went over quite a reasonable bit. That was like one of those things that like perplexed me about making Clippy the very first time. Alright. And from there we know that center bit is supposed to be our accessible, usable space. So from there, we mainly want to just sort of start sectioning out something like this. And where this white's gonna be essentially going to be what's we're hoping to kind of like clip out. Realistically, we could probably have that piece down there do that dirty work for us. Now, I do have a plan to kind of project it a little more simplified, like, check this out. So we keep this piece here, and then we rescale this one until it's the best of both of those. Basically that. We delete the old version, and we retain the exact same space, but more simplified in how many layers we're doing this with, and also simplifying the overall process. Like it? I certainly do. And then we just need this last one to shun the non-believers. Shun. Kudos if you know that reference. And now we are going to group all these together. And since we know this relativity is good to us, we're going to make it now a color tone we kind of actually want. I'm actually gonna move Clippy up. So everything that's below this white is gonna show up only in the yellow space, or in that top left corner that I just never knocked off. But it's not really harming anything, so it's like, why would I? It's not necessary that I should tinker with that too much more. Here's a fun little thing I came up with. I'm trying to think what color those lines were. Let me actually... Okay, so it's blue lines that way, and a one red line going across, or all the way straight down. But mind you, it's a curved paper, so what's straight down is technically, it has to be really curved. Okay. In which case, if this is going to be a straight line thing, I want something a little more here. I want to kind of lose some of the strength of the hue. I want to kind of thin it up quite a bit, but we also kind of want it stretched. So it's kind of like, just kind of play with your scaling, and you should end up getting something fairly close, as long as you use the shape that I was just using, which is this slash dash, whatever you want to call it. Backdash. don't know what its technical name is, but that is irrelevant. But we're just gonna do these right here, just because it's already right here. And then we'll actually just group them and stick them below. Or actually, we could probably just... You know what? Let me just move them up right now. And you too. If we can prevent us from using more groups, that's actually a good thing. Long term, you want to savor as many group linkings as physically possible when you make stuff like this. It will make your life a lot easier the more complex you want to make things. So if you can find little corner cuts like that, that's a good thing. But let's see here. Probably about there. Try to keep in mind about how many times you move a piece. Now I am gonna tell you right now, when we get a little further down, like more towards the bottom, it might not be stretched out enough where we have to kind of compensate how we're adjusting it. Overall, it seems to me that going downward, it's just moving it down 5 spaces. I think it's like... like 3 or 4 spaces down and 1 to the left or something. If you want it to be more at a balance. For the longer run. Or at the very least, that's how I've been doing it. This might actually be quite off from however many lines there is in the actual thing, to be honest. But overall, most people are never going to notice that, let me tell you. Did I make... Okay, I see, I already moved it. I was losing track a sec. In fact, before I get too confused, let's actually move this one all the way to the top. Or, you know, that kind of top. Just to make this more simple and keeping track of where things are in moving and relativity of each other. Now actually, when you get lower down, you probably want to space them just a wee bit more. Because that is page that is supposed to be getting closer to you. But you see we're already reaching a point where it was reaching like the edge of the page on the left side. Whoops, did not mean to do that. So now I'm doing by 7. This time I did down by 7 and over to the left by 2. And it really just adds so much more natural feel to how close it's actually kind of becoming. But I see here that it's actually becoming pretty close to the very end on both sides. So I'm actually going to scale up a bit more. Now, in doing so, it does actually slightly affect your angle. So I am going to adjust that by a single angle clockwise. Overall, not too many people are going to pay pixel attention to that, so that is actually quite fine. And it looks actually fairly natural still, the way I just did it. But there is one last thing we should probably do. Now, I noticed there was some slight of shading going on here with the page coming from the top right and down to the bottom. So we're actually going to gonna go into this. We're going to edit the color to about here. Do that. Turn that grid off because it's messing with me with all this. And then we're going to use the grid, or the gradient feature. So you come in from the top right, or so it seems. So it's something like this. But it seems to me like that's a little strong. Is there one a little weaker? That's a lot more acceptable. Look at that. And lastly, we need that red line in. And no, we don't need any higher up in that page with the blue lines, because it is supposed to have, with those style of notebook paper, they usually leave like an inch from the top or so. Yeah, but Clippy is actually kind of like an oversized paper clip. But I'm not going to overthink that. Now we need to think what we can do. I want to say it's like this kind of color for like the red line. Maybe a little more vibrant. Maybe like there. Just need an ideal creation of the shape. Now, unfortunately, most things are not going to just be right there with this. So we might have to be a little more inventive than that. But I'm just sort of taking a quick gander. Mind you, it's been a good while since I have actually done this, so my inventiveness is going to be a little more prevalent and being very much a thing. Let's see, just kind of taking an example of inspiration to create the line. But overall, most importantly, the line must be of an S shape. Now, something I do recall is that I did kind of have an ideal something to get it out of last time. And I want to say it's along the lines of these. Kinda confidence along the lines of these. And you're about to see why I think that. Now first we need it to be able to reach, kind of stretch to an exact 1-to-1 of where I'd like it to be. But if it can get as close as it can to that 1-to-1, that is genuinely good enough. Okay, now here's why I cared about that. Like it. I, for one, am loving it. That is good. That is very good. And like that, we just need to kind of finalize these details as a group. God, there's so many lines. There's so many lines that physically hurts me to go through it. But no more. And like that, we have done one hell of a convincing Clippy. But we're not calling him done just yet. Oh no. We are very close though. It's actually a little more like right here, right? Now, this isn't a very perfect idea, but we're actually going to duplicate Clippy here. And there is a reason for this. Okay, for the most part, we don't want to warp him too much. To remind myself, what does it do in this way? Okay. Let's see. You're going to make this into a type 1 mask with just these included. Oh, oh no. I just realized I never converted this into a mask. Whoopsie. So you guys, even experienced almost professionals make mistakes. And then we are going to add a considerable amount of fade right there. that Clippy has pretty convincing bit of shadow on the paper. We can always, if we're worried it's too small, we can ungroup. There's no risks at all to doing that, mind you. In fact, let's physically put this at fuller size. Scale out this piece. Create this as a group here. And then do it. And like that, we are granted a little more, kind of like a freedom almost in the security of it, and how much we can really take with the shape of it. Now, mind you, if you angle it like this, and if you applied a shadow or like a mask to it with a group again, you could further warp it like this way, straight up and down, straight left and right also. But something we'll probably never use, or at least in this exact instance, is the left and right flippy-flapping of the invert. This thing. But that's still a little strong, where it's kind of intrusive to looking at Clippy. And like that, it's a much more convincing Clippy. Let's just group that bad boy together, and he is all the more secure. He is one object, we can move him anywhere. You can find him on the computer, at home, in your nightmares. The possibilities are endless. We can send him to the pits of hell, where he will roam free and dominate. Oh, where is it? This one. Clippy is ready. Clippy is waiting. Clippy is watching. And he is patronizing you every step of the way. I want to give him a stalactite. Actually, was there any actual examples of like fire in here? I don't think there is. I think I checked before and I'd never seen anything too convincing. Which is kind of a shame. Because it's actually kind of a fight. We have the sun. That's not very fire-like though. I mean, it's theoretically a fireball, but, you know. Oh well, there is this. I'm not locked in here with you. You're trapped in here with me? Stuck in here with me? I don't know. Almost said trucked for whatever reason. I want to say like stuck and trapped at the same time. Like, what else would there be in hell? Is there music in hell? I don't know. Is there like an anti-sun down there? The world may never know. But before I get too crazy with this, thank you so much for watching. If you indeed have, I hope you all learned something. You know, there's something that we all deserve this. We all deserve to meet Clippy in hell. But no, we all have a lot of potential to really tinker around with the image editor of Armored Core 6 for all kinds of fun reasons. Now, mind you, there is kind of guidelines to this, although it's not very detailed, mind you. But essentially take it for, if it's safe for streaming on, say, Twitch, it's probably okay. So, yeah. Hope you all learned something. Hope you even have expanded your horizons. Unlocked your true potential. But, you have yourselves a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.